Hey guys, welcome back to Just Carve Rob. Carving an owl for Jordy's giveaway. That's what we're doing today. We're carving a dowel. Welcome back to Just Carve Rob. We're carving a dowel. This is 1.25 inch poplar dowel rod. We're going to carve an owl out of it. So we got the Dremel 4000 with the Cuts-All Extreme Flame Burr. Is making an appearance today. And we will be using the micromotor with various diamond burrs. Yep. So, as you may know, if you watch Carving Fusion with Jordy Johnson, Jordy and I are doing a co-op carving. He carved a green man and a wood spirit in a piece of Douglas fir with a hole in its head. And he asked me if I wanted to carve an owl to put in there. And I said, why, certainly. So that's what we're doing. We're carving an owl. I had a limited amount of space for the size of this owl. The hole is roughly 2 by 3. So the owl is going to be 1.25 inches by 3 inches tall. And the video was a little long, but we're going to get it all out in one shot. You can see we're carving the eye sockets in to the head. And this is going to be one of them horned owl things. So that's what we're doing. We're putting the horns on top of his head. Getting that all carved in there. Using that Cuts-All Extreme Burr and the Dremel 4000. That's what we're using to carve a lot of this. And then we'll go to the micromotor. Yep. So, our buddy there, Ben, over at Studio on the Lake, is keeping himself busy. Now we have a little carbide ball burr in here. It's a 1/32 shaft, a very small ball to help us rough out the face on the owl. Get that pushed back in there. For a second I worried that I had cut the horns in too deep on the sides. Should have cut all the angles in before I cut that bottom angle in, because right now it looks like the head of a moth. It's Mothra! No, it's not. It's going to be an owl. Although I had serious doubts about this thing actually looking like an owl. As we started out here, like I said, if you put a couple little antennas on it, it could look like a moth. But that just goes to show you guys, never give up. Stick with your carving to the end, to the bitter end. If you don't like it, you can always get rid of it. But if you think it looks like crap, like I thought this looked like crap, I still think it looks like crap. Well, no, not really. It came out all right. Because I haven't carved an owl in, probably a year or two now. You gotta refresh yourself when you're carving stuff like owls. A spook owl, that's what it's called. Uncle Kevin carves those spook owls. He could be a spook owl, or he could be an owl with a fancy hairdo. A fancy hairdo. Alright, so now we have a diamond football burr. And we're doing some sanding. We're pushing those eyes in deeper and deeper. And trying to get them to pop out a little bit. And I think we're succeeding at that. because we don't fit, you know, we got to really cup those eyes. So we put the feathers around the eyes, they puff up real good. So that's what we're doing. We're digging we're making them cups in deeper there. And we'll be sanding it back and giving it more of that point so it don't got a flat faced owl. And we're back with that cut saw, shaping and shaping and shaping. Have to take a little more wood off the sides to fit the head, otherwise it'll look like it's got a pencil head. Got a real skinny head. Okay, so now what we have is an eye cutter that the mad scientist Pete Blair up there in Canada made. We're using a cordless drill to cut the eyeballs in. And then we'll take the diamond burr, a little diamond burr, a little flame burr diamond, and get in there and sand them down, sand them round, sand them round. Because we remember this was cupped in, so to make the eyes flat and round, we got to go pretty deep with that eye cutter to flatten them out. Otherwise, they're going to be cupped in, and we know eyeballs aren't shaped like they aren't cupped in like that. They're round. And get in there and work on that beak a little bit. There we go. We zoomed in for you. You see what's going on. This popple dowel rod is really white. It's a really white wood. So it's kind of hard to see all the detail and stuff that's going in there. We have changed over to a ruby burr here. This is a ruby burr, flame burr shape, ruby burr. And see what I mean by saying that we're cupping that where the feathers around the eye is? That's what we're doing. We're cupping it in there. And we'll keep pushing that back and cupping it, pushing it back and sanding and getting those eyes embedded. Back to the Dremel 4000 with that cut saw burr. Removing some more wood off from there to get the sides of the head down where I think they belong. Remember, no way, shape, or form is this supposed to resemble a real owl. So the feathers are probably wrong. The face is probably a little off. The wings are probably too small. The feet are too big. Who knows? But I'm not claiming that this is supposed to be a realistic owl, because it is not. 'Tis not. 'Tis not. This is Jordy makes them little fluffy fat owls, or at least he used to. Little fat fluffy owls. I love them things. So I'm trying to duplicate that little fat fluffy owl. Probably more like an owlet. An owlet? Outlet? Not an outlet, an owlet. You don't plug a plug into it. It's not an outlet. It's an owlet. Owlet? Isn't that what they call the baby owls? Is an owlet? Okay, so now we have that carbide flame burr, 3/32. One of my favorite burrs when I'm doing little caricatures like this guy here. Needs to be a little sharper. This one's getting old. He's already this carbide bird here is already 2 years old. Yep. Well, this I got that carbide burr about the same time I got this micro motor, and I've had that for 2 years. Have not had to replace the brushes in it yet. I did take it apart and check them, and they're about half gone, I would say, about half gone. So probably next couple of weeks, I'll be taking it apart and checking those brushes again. So if you want to see a video on that, mention it in the comments. I'll show you how to take it apart and check your brushes. It's not hard, but you should, with even your Dremels, you should pull your brushes out every couple months and take a look at them, and get a little can of that canned air that you use on your computers and blow that out in there. That carbon dust builds up in there, and you get too much of it built up in there and you will burn up your stator inside of the motor windings there. So it's worth the little bit of time that it takes to take it apart, pull the brushes out, blow it out. If the brushes need to be replaced or they're a little more than half gone, spend the $9. Go online to Dremel, order a set of brushes. Matter of fact, I have to do that. I usually keep a set on hand, but my one Dremel was acting up, and I had a brush actually chip. So it was making it run like garbage. And I had a spare set of brushes hanging in the cabinet, and I put them in there, and I did a boo-boo. I did not order a new set of brushes, so I got to get online and do that. Believe me, have a set or two sitting around. I usually, when those brushes get a little more than half worn out, I change them and take the old ones and throw them right in the garbage. So you're not tempted to throw them back in another Dremel. I know I burned up a couple Dremels. I let them brushes get wore right down to nothing, and it destroyed the armature because it got down to that little wire deal. There's a wire that goes into the back of those brushes, and when you get a little bit more than half wore down, that wire starts hitting, and it will mess that copper armature up, and then you either got to buy a new Dremel or buy a armature from Dremel, and hopefully you still have a model that they carry. Dremel has changed. They've disbanded a lot of models of Dremels that they used to carry. But it seems constant that they carry the 4000, the 4300, and those. But like the bigger Dremels, like my 732, was a great Dremel, and they just decided that's it, we're not carrying it no more. So when they told me that, I said, well, where am I supposed to get spare parts from? And so I asked them what spare parts they had, and they only had like 5 drive cables, flex shafts for it, 4 or 5 sets of brushes. I bought it all, everything they had for that particular Dremel, because I really like it. It's kind of equal to the Fordham, and so, you know, if they don't make it no more and you can't get the parts no more, I guess you better buy the parts you can get. And knock on wood, I have not had to use any of my spare parts while I use a set of brushes. But there you go, signed and dated, Jordy. Signed and dated. And we're digging it. That's the tail feathers there, guys. The tail feathers. And that is still the ruby burr that we're using there. Drawing in where his feet and talons are going to be. And that's going to be his feathery. He's going to have feathery legs. Feathery legs. Feathery legs. He's got legs, and they got feathers all over them. He's got legs, and he knows how to stand on them. Oh, I need a drink. All right. So you can see we're getting that cut in. We have that small flame burr in there again, carbide. I'm getting that all rounded over. And kind of shaping it a little bit. This burr works so good on these little caricatures, little ones. I don't know what I would do. I'm going to have to order another one because I don't know what I would do if I didn't have it. That's how good it works. You can see what I'm saying about that face. It's starting to come around. But boy, it looked like a disaster when we first got her going. That thing was looking terrible. Now we're cutting the talons in. He's going to have some big toes. But, you know, we don't want him to break off on whoever gets it. So, I don't know if Jordy's going to go ahead and install it into the hole in that piece of Douglas fir he's got, or how that's going to work. I probably just going to send it to him, and then he can install it. So yeah, make sure you go over and check out Jordy's video on his giveaway for the green man in Douglas fir. It's got a green man on one side and a wood spirit on the other. And I guess this owl in the hole. It's going to be Owl in the Nook. Owl in the Nook. So we got that all worked out there. Got the talons cut in. We're going to leave things a little bit thick here so in case he gets dropped, they don't snap off. Okay, so now we have got a diamond burr in there. Diamond flame burr. And we're cutting the feathers around the eyeballs in. See, he's looking better. Or I'm just kidding myself, one of the two. I think he's looking better. I'll tell you, he was a hot mess there for a minute, wasn't he? I was like, man, I don't think anybody's gonna see this video because he just he was looking like a hot mess. Oh boy. But yeah, I just kept working it back. Well, you guys see what I did. You've been watching the video, unless you're a skipper. And you skipped all the way to the end of the video. I don't know. I put in hours and hours on these videos. And according to the YouTube analytics, they're only being watched for, at the outside longest, 6 minutes. So you figure, okay, this video is 21 minutes long. So how long does it take to actually carve this thing? Well, I can tell you, it took 1 hour and 30 minutes to carve this little guy. Just because it's a little carving don't mean that it's quick. Because like with a chainsaw, you could do the same thing in 1 hour and 30 minutes. But all your tools you're using are, you know, chainsaw sized. Where with this little guy, they're all little sized. So it really don't matter if you're using a great big chainsaw and a die grinder with 1/4 inch burrs, or if you're using a Cuts-All extreme burr and little burrs. It's going to take you the same amount of time. You're like, how could something little like that take 1.5 hours? Well, it does. And as fast as I carve, I know if I tried carving this guy into a log, it'd probably be 12 hours and 30 minutes. Right? So now we're going to take the wood burner, and we're just going to wood burn these wing feathers in and do a little wood burning here. I don't know if I care for the feather placement on this. I think maybe they should have been swept back a little bit more. But you don't ever see them because he's going to be in a hole. He's going to go down the hole. He's going to be in the hole. Yeah. He's going to be in a hole. So you can see we're just cutting those upper feathers in. We cut the long flight feathers in. I think that's what they're called. I don't know. Cut in between his toes. Well, actually, that is his talons. We burnt talons in there. Or just made them black. Because this guy is just going to be... We're going to stain him. with wood stain. And then we'll let them dry. And then we'll come back over them with the Scotch-Brite. Do a little scuff them up. Get some highlights, right, Jordy? Get them highlights in there. And then we'll put a clear coat on them. Yep. Probably, because he is stained, I have some polyurethane. We're probably just going to put them in the polyurethane. I have gloss and I have semi-gloss. So we're probably just going to semi-gloss them. It makes it better for them when somebody gets them and he gets dusty. With the semi-gloss, you can just take a paintbrush, and just, sweep them off. Dust the dust off of them. Now we're separating the toes and the feet. These birds actually have, if you look at their legs, they actually have a lot of feathers down there around their legs. So that's what we're doing there. Now we're just going to go around and wood burn his eyes in. Give him some personality. Probably go back and paint the eyes in black or yellow. What do you guys think? Should they be painted black or yellow? I don't know. And we'll give them the old boot brush. Share, subscribe, and like. Be awesome. Carve something awesome. Carve every day if you can. There he is. He's 3 by 1 1/4. We didn't take anything off the wings. So we'll catch you later. Stay safe. Bye-bye.